This week, the AirTags get their first major update to correct an oversight by Apple, and we got some more last-minute WWDC21 rumors. So let's go ahead together, as a people, of course, and check it out. And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and this week we're talking about the AirTags, and we got some more information on WWDC. If you didn't see my Wednesday video, go check it out if you want to see what to expect. Unless you know it is already Monday, then WWDC might have happened already. But don't worry, because I'll be back on Tuesday with a video about that. But before we hop into the WWDC rumors, I want to go ahead and talk about the AirTags because they're fairly new. They came out, they did their thing, their trackers. I mean, what is there really to talk about? They work pretty well, but there were some safety concerns about them. So Apple finally did a firmware update to address these safety concerns. And if you haven't heard, it's about the potential stalking settings on them. And if you don't know what I mean, it's basically like, you know, if someone wanted to take an AirTag and leave it in your car to kind of stalk you or track you, AirTags have a setting where after a certain amount of time, it would alert that person, of course, if they have an iPhone, that, hey, there's an unknown AirTag following you, and ask them if they want to disable it. But the issue with the feature was it didn't kick in until 72 hours, so basically 3 days. And that's like way too long. Like if you getting stalked, like 3 days for me, that's my whole schedule. Like you already got the breakfast, lunch, dinner. You got my work pattern, my workouts at the gym. You didn't know my whole routine for the rest of my life. So like 72 hours, I'm sorry, Apple, that was never a good idea. I don't even know why that was the default. But now they went ahead and did a firmware update to correct that feature. So the correct course on this, they basically made the time random between 8 and 24 hours. And that's kind of important because if someone is trying to stalk somebody with an AirTag, they don't know when they're going to be alerted if it's like a random time. I would have liked to see it a little bit sooner, maybe between 4 and 24 hours, because 8 hours is still quite a bit of time to know that you have as a cushion before someone's going to be alerted that this thing is following them. And of course you may be asking like, well, what about people that have Android phones? What if they use them to stalk them? Well, too bad. I'm just kidding. So they are coming out with an Android app to detect AirTags. It's not gonna be able to do anything else, like really like configure them or anything. It's just basically to detect them. So that's their solution for Android. The whole thing honestly is just Apple doing some CYA because they don't want people to use AirTags for malicious purposes and then be like, oh, Apple didn't do anything to try to stop them. So really, I feel like this whole feature is really just Apple covering themselves. And it's good to have this feature anyway. I'm not saying that this feature is pointless, but like the whole Android app thing, I'm like, you barely trying to do anything to really protect people on the Android side. You're just like, oh, we're gonna release an app. Because I feel like a lot of people, especially if they don't have anybody in their life that even has iOS or is in the iPhone ecosystem, they're probably not gonna download this app or even know that it exists. But it's just kind of to be like, well, we did stuff for Android. So yes, the Android app is on the way to be able to track AirTags, and the firmware update has already rolled out. But I think it's overall good. Like when they did the AirTags keynote, I don't think they mentioned how much time it was before that anti-stalking thing kicked in, and then people found out it was like 3 days. They're like, 3 days? I'm gonna be dead by then. So yes, I'm glad that they finally fixed this, and I still think there's some room to improve it in the future, but we'll see what happens. So switching gears a little bit, let's hop over to these WWDC rumors. And this one may not be related to WWDC, it could be, but that is the rumored HomeOS. So right now, the HomePod doesn't really have its own OS. It kind of runs tvOS. So the rumors are that they might unveil HomeOS at WWDC. And the reason is they put out a job listing that mentioned working with HomeOS as one of the operating systems. And we all know HomeOS right now, at least to the general public, isn't a thing. It would be nice for them to do HomeOS, even if it's not that much different than, you know, tvOS or the version of tvOS the HomePod's running now, just to see it get its own OS, and that way it can get its own separate features and be more of a focus. Kind of like they did with iPad. Like, yes, iPad and iOS are still very similar and pretty much the same thing. But when they did iPad OS, it allowed them to kind of be like, okay, well, we don't have to be exactly the same as iOS because it's not running iOS anymore. So I still think from a development standpoint, if they do like a HomeOS, it would make sense. Also, there's been rumors that they're going to be working on like a new audio system that possibly integrates the Apple TV 4K. So that would definitely make sense that they plan on putting out more smart home related speakers, like the HomePod family type speakers. So we'll see if anything gets announced. This is kind of like a minor rumor. It's not going to really make a major difference, but it'd be nice to know that they're still thinking about the HomePod, and that's people who like it. Be nice. Of course, not the original HomePod because they RIP'd it. And in the final part of these WWDC rumors, let's talk about iOS. So there's nothing major that's come out. This whole WWDC, if all these rumors are true, is looking real light. It's looking like a real light software year all around. So Bloomberg is speculating that basically the widgets are coming to the iPad, like to be able to move them around. That's going to be announced. But also the revamped notification system, we got some more details about what it could be. And basically, they're going to let you set these statuses, like if you're driving or doing whatever, that's going to dictate how your notifications come in. And it's also going to be tied in with auto replies through iMessage. So basically, it's just more of an automation type thing. Like if you're driving and you only want to get certain notifications while you're driving, or certain people message you and you just wanted to auto reply, be like, hey, I'm driving. That type of thing. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of an upgrade. It's also mentioned that they're working on a revamped lock screen, but most likely that's going to be iOS 16 next year. This is all according to the Bloomberg leaks. I wonder if you have to manually set the statuses or if it'll automatically do it. Like obviously the iPhone can detect when you're driving. So I wonder if you could do location-based type statuses. 'Cause that might be useful to some people, but if not, like if I have to manually go in and change the status, I'm never going to personally use that feature. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow at WWDC, but I'm really hoping that there's some kind of surprise that just blows everything out the water. But maybe I'm just a little bit too hopeful. I don't know. We'll find out in like less than 24 hours. But until then, I will be back on Tuesday to talk all about WWDC and whatever they announce tomorrow. So stay tuned. And until then, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and always do at least 2 things at the same time.